Well, good morning. I arrived in the Montreux area. I'm in this neighborhood overlooking Montreux. Let's pronounce it Co, shall we? We'll just leave it at that. And I got in yesterday, and I mean, it was early, no problem. Kind of mid-afternoon almost. And I didn't even bother to go down into Montreux. I could have walked down, dipped my poles in the lake. Could have taken the cog railway from where I was staying there at the station. Didn't want to, I just wanted to sit in my room. I think, I've had 1-0 day and it's been 3 weeks. So I think it kind of caught up with me. I didn't even go out to eat. I didn't even look for anything to eat. I just had a handful of potato chips and called it good. So this morning, better rested, I am going to go down and dip my poles in the lake, look up find the statue of Freddie Mercury for Dano so I can get my selfie taken with that. And see what else Montreux has to offer. This school of hotel management here is actually quite beautiful in this neighborhood. It's the Swiss School of Hotel Management. Very charming. One of the lessons, one of the gifts that one gets from doing a through hike or a long hike or probably even a short hike is the ability and the opportunity to be still and be quiet and just observe what's going on around you. Two mornings ago, I woke up in my tent. It had been raining overnight. It was wild camping. And it was all quiet. There was hardly any wind. And I didn't have anything to do. It was a little too early to get up. I wasn't in a hurry. And I just started listening. And I could hear the stream just down the hill a little ways. I never saw it. And I started listening to it. And I started listening to the tonal qualities of a stream. it's all over the place, very high, bright notes, low rumbles, stuff in between, constantly going on. But it's not like white noise. It's not like constant. It has an organic quality to it that makes it so soothing if you're trying to fall asleep. And I could tell, just by listening to it, how far away it was. How could I do that? Well, when the stream is that far away, then more of it is sort of the same distance from you. And so it sort of blends in a little bit. And the highs that get reinforced coming in from one area and another area, right at your ear, play out that way. And you can tell. I think you know what I mean. You can tell how far away something like that is. And the next thing I noticed was the insects. Now, these were flies, but they sounded remarkably like the Minnesota state bird, that is the mosquito. And I think you know what I mean, whee! And compared with the stream, this was sort of a single tone, because their little wings were all pretty much the same length, and they created the same sound. And there were a whole bunch of them outside my tent, just sort of getting going for the morning, exploring their territory. But then when I started listening to that tone as well, I realized that wasn't true. It wasn't like a single tone. It wasn't like like the ringing in your ears or something like that. That in fact it did change. There were some wing beats that were a little higher than others, and also as certain flies would come in and go away from my tent, it became just a little more intense and fading. So sort of like a vibrato, both in intensity and also in tone. Even though when you first listen to it, it's just wee. And the next thing I noticed was something very different, and that was the calls of the birds in the morning. Now, some of these bird calls seemed very familiar. I couldn't identify a single one of them for you, this species or that species. But some of them I recognized, That's, maybe a sparrow, but it's something I recognize from home. And other ones were completely different. And listening to that in the music of the morning, of course, is always delightful. Just to listen to the birds chirping and calling to one another and loving the day. And then as I lay there in the tent, I could hear something that sounded like a dog. Now, my first thought was that a wolf? And I thought, nah, that's not a wolf. I mean, I saw a wolf earlier this summer, but I am not sure that they have wolves in Switzerland. But it definitely sounded like a canine. And here's what it sounded like. A couple days before that, I had been sitting in one of these mountain, tiny little family-run restaurants, and there were two patrons there who both had dogs, both on leashes. One was sitting right next to me. Very nice dog. And across the little patio, there was the other dog, a puppy. And the dog sitting next to me wanted to go play with the puppy so much. And so he sat there just going, and you know this tone too. I can't do it very well, but you know what I'm talking about when a dog is trying to tell its master, I want something, and please let me have it. In this case, to go play with another puppy. Well, what I heard was very, very remarkably like that in the woods. And what could it have been? Definitely sounded canine. And I think perhaps it might have been a fox, like a young fox trying to whine at its mom as they went by. It was pretty far away, but it was pretty distinctive. So those were the things that I noticed when I had absolutely nothing to do in my tent and couldn't think of anything. I didn't have any chores to do. I just listened. I just noticed. And I bet you, if you have some quiet time today, you can notice things in your environment that you never really noticed before. Sights and smells and tastes, how things are working together or not. Because taking the time to do that is kind of one of the things that adds a real richness to life. And that's a gift that I have found from hiking. But you don't have to hike to do it.